Coming up on the Week in Review, funeral services for Reverend Jesse Jackson in Chicago, the impact of the Iran conflict in Chicago, shots fired at Chicago police, plus the Bears make a big move. Jake's interview with
Gary got up to 79 degrees today, and then the temperatures dropped about 10 degrees, just like that. So, again, winds are out of the south, and they eventually pulled in some warmer temperatures, but we had some showers and thunderstorms. You can see live power Doppler weather radar there. That's the 8 o'clock snapshot. And you can see that we have dried out nicely here across Chicago. Still some rainfall, Michigan City up towards New Buffalo and then back into Berrien County in Michigan. Portage seeing perhaps a little bit of light rainfall. That is beginning to end as well. But this area right here, southern Cook County, into parts of northwest Indiana, into parts of Lake County, Indiana, and then right along the Will County line and the southern Cook County line, right, that little jagged stepped area there. There is a flash flood warning. That flash flood warning goes for another 45 minutes, and it's because they've had between 1 and 2 and as much as 3 inches of rainfall came down there in those very heavy showers. Let me slide back out of here, and you can still see there's some muddy, let's call it medium rainfall from south of LaPorte back down to around the Kankakee River, the river valley down through there, right at Jasper County line. And then the heaviest rainfall is now pushed off. You see this yellow area here. The yellow area is a severe thunderstorm watch box. Now, that was over parts of northern Illinois. Earlier today, it was over Will County and Grundy County and Kankakee counties. But you can see those showers have since moved off to our east, and that part of the watch box has been taken down. In fact, it's been taken down for northwest Indiana as well. But this is the leading line of those stronger showers and thunderstorms, and they continue to move off towards Rochester and Wausau and Goshen, heading up to Sturgis in Michigan. And speaking of this part of Michigan, there has actually been a little tornado that popped up there. And it kind of hung out for a little while. There were several tornado warnings, and it was reported to be on the ground. Again, this was in south central Michigan, not near us, not affecting us in any way, shape, or form, but again, a tornado reported up there on the ground earlier today. So here's where our destiny lies here for the next couple of hours. Anyway, we've got a couple of isolated little spritzy showers there. South central DeKalb County down towards maybe down towards Earlville a little bit, seeing a little bit of light rainfall down in northern LaSalle County. A little hit and miss activity. A lot of this, excuse me, not reaching the ground, but again, a little bit of light kind of leftover rainfall. And then let's pull out a little further and see what else we can see, because there are some showers that are out to our west. And you can see this entire area out towards central Iowa, western Iowa, some stronger showers and thunderstorms moving in through Des Moines this hour. And those are the showers and thunderstorms that we'll likely see overnight tonight. Likely to see those after midnight. During the overnight hours, you can hear the rumble of thunder, maybe some flashes of lightning. I think out of this, we'll see some gusty winds again. And we've had some gusty winds out of those severe thunderstorms earlier. Winds in excess of 60 miles per hour. And we'll see some heavy downpours as well. And again, this comes late overnight, probably well past midnight, overnight hours. I expect most of it to be out of here around sunrise. And then we go back in the northwestern Iowa, and this is all freezing rain and freezing drizzle, stretching from, just to the northwest of Mason City, Iowa, kind of around the Iowa Great Lakes up there in northwestern Iowa, and then stretching down towards Sioux City, and then back down into east central portions of Nebraska. And then we go a little further out to the west. Now we're looking at North Dakota here. This is Minnesota, and this is Nebraska. And yes, that is snowfall. And it looks like some halfway decent snowfall bands out here, out over maybe almost the sandhills of Nebraska, but out over northwestern Nebraska where there's some snowfall, and that trickles all the way back into Denver and into the Colorado Rockies. So again, a lot going on. Let's slide this back a little closer to us. Showers and thunderstorms not only around Des Moines, but around Omaha, then south in towards Kansas. Kansas City seeing some shower thunderstorm action that slides all the way back down through parts of Missouri as well. So a pretty active pattern kind of being set up here. Speaking of wintry weather, you can see a little bit of snowfall from Minnesota, northern parts of Minnesota. And then this actually shows you how far north the warm air has gone. because the warm air is all the way north of the Upper Peninsula I believe across most of the area here. So we're seeing these pink areas on the north side of Lake Superior, freezing precip, freezing rain, as opposed to what you normally see would be snow. And then even up here into Ontario, going all the way up into Hudson Bay, this is rainfall. So surrounded on either side by some snowfall. But again, the point being that there is a pretty warm surge of air sliding right up in that pocket, right across the entire area to our north. So no wonder why we had temperatures around the area that were flirting with 80 degrees. Now, if you're in Chicago, we didn't hit 80 degrees. Now, we did hit temperatures in the 60s and even some 70s briefly, but things cooled back down. And good news is we'll be in a fairly warm setup here for the next couple of days. I think tomorrow and I think Sunday, we're talking about low 60s. And what are you thinking about a 3-day weekend? Monday, some sunshine, temperatures of 70. It looks like the best day of them all. And then when we get over to Detroit, look at this. They're kind of set up. See that gray area? A little visibility being obscured over towards Detroit and the Detroit suburbs. They're kind of set up in the same situation that we had earlier today around Chicago, where visibility was not so good. Well, you can see this evening, look at that, clear. I was going to say clear skies. We don't have clear skies, but what we do have is clear visibility off to the horizon. Things look considerably better than we looked earlier. You see the camera shaking a little bit as the winds have picked up a bit. And now you look at this picture and you're like, well, if the winds picked up, how come we're not seeing really a lot of waves out on the shore? A couple reasons. First of all, this picture is mostly looking right along the breakwall, but the winds are out of the south. So we're kind of looking towards the shoreline. You get out a little bit more towards the mid part of the lake and you'll see probably some higher winds. City looking pretty good here this evening, not too shabby. Overnight tonight, those temperatures will be dipping down on the cool side before warming back up into the 60s tomorrow. Again, well above average. Look at these daytime highs today. I told you we were flirting with 80 degrees. Look at Gary, Indiana, 79 degrees, 78 degrees in Kankakee, 77 in Maryville and Valparaiso and Rensselaer. Look at the difference between Midway at 74 and O'Hare at 66. Pretty stark contrast there for just being one airport away, right? Different sides of town, different situation. And then go up the shore a little more, 63 at Waukegan, 63, the high temperature today at Woodstock, 62 in Rockford. So, yeah, pretty sharp temperature contrast, and that's why we had at least the initial setup for some severe weather earlier this afternoon. So temperatures right now, we've kind of, homogenized a little bit. We're in the low 60s, most locations within a degree or two of the low 60s. So 60 at the Lakeshore, 63 at O'Hare, 62 at Midway, 61 in Kankakee, and 62 up the lake in Waukegan, 61 in LaSalle, Peru, 62 in Valparaiso. So yeah, there are some outliers, 59 in Michigan City, 59 in Rockford, and 65 in Rensselaer. But basically, we're all kind of down, scrunched into that turf, that territory, down into the lower 60s. We will fall off overnight tonight, and we will warm right up about where we are right now for tomorrow's daytime highs, which ain't too shabby. Okay, so this is your satellite and radar, and I told you that we have a flash flood warning up there for Will County and in southern Cook County. Watch right, I'm going to show you right here, heavy rainfall, and right here, some heavy rainfall. So you had two different waves of heavy pockets of rain coming down. And again, some reports of 1, 2, and as much as 3 inches of rain, all within a very short period of time. But that rainfall has moved off, and we do have time to kind of let the creeks go down a little bit before we see more additional rainfall after midnight tonight. That looks like the timing on that. We are cloudy. We are seeing some breaks in the clouds across parts of northwestern Illinois, up towards Freeport. There's been some occasional breaks in the clouds. Also down in southern LaSalle County, down by the Panhandle, there's been a few breaks in the clouds there as well. But here in Chicago, we are cloudy. We're cloudy at most locations. Winds were gusty at times today, especially around those thunderstorms, and that's obviously why they were severe, with winds gusting over 60 miles per hour. But we still have some pockets of some decent wind gusts. Look at the heights, 24 mile per hour wind gusts, 22-mile-per-hour wind gust at Gary, 26-mile-per-hour wind gust at Valparaiso. Winds are all out of the south, so that's going to maintain that nice warm or mild temperature setup as we go through the weekend. Again, we're low 60s both tomorrow, and we're talking about 70 degrees likely on Monday. So you look around the Midwest, and this is getting to be kind of a spring-like pattern. We have a line of showers and thunderstorms that have set up. Then back on the northwest side, we have snow and some freezing precip. Again, that's the stuff I showed you just a little bit ago, back across parts of Minnesota and into Iowa. But it looks like our pattern should quell. It should quiet down a little bit here, especially after we get through the showers overnight tonight and into the early morning hours, and things should dry out nicely for us. There is a chance of some showers in the morning, but I think by the later part of the day on Saturday, we should be completely dry. That is my hope. And then we're certainly dry with some sunshine as we head towards Sunday. Temperature outlook. This is the middle of March, the 14th through the 20th. And, over the last 3.5 weeks or so, I've been showing you a pattern change, which had a lot of reds and oranges on it, indicating a nice little warm-up. But look at this. The temperature trend is tilting a little bit towards some cooler weather as we head mid-March and through the 20th of March, which is always something. Okay, so here's our forecast set up here for over the next 10 days. We've got low 60s Saturday and Sunday, 70 degrees on Monday. Tuesday, we start to cool off a little bit. It's still okay, 58 degrees. Look at Monday. It's missing its 70. Apparently, someone didn't load the 70s yet because maybe they took them off during the winter. I don't know. 46 degrees on Wednesday, close to normal. 49 degrees on Thursday. Friday, we're back up to almost 60. And then we're kind of bobbing around there for the 40s and 50s. Hey, we're going to take a look beyond this. So we're going to talk a little bit more about the weather in the 7-day forecast. And I've got more interesting stuff to tell you about. So stick around. So we hit a high temperature of 65 degrees today. That came at 2:44 this afternoon. 70 is actually the record. We weren't too far away from the record. That was set back in 1983. In fact, if that air from Midway had just gotten a little further north up to O'Hare, we would have had a new record today. On average, our normal daytime high temperature is around 43. So we are well above average, and we'll be well above average tomorrow as we sail back into the lower 60s. No big surprise, road conditions are wet. This is where the rainfall came down. This is where the rainfall made the wet roads. Not that we have particularly hazardous driving conditions here at the moment, but nonetheless, this is what the road survey is showing. And now, forecast as we go overnight tonight. Let's take a look at this. And there we go, right there after midnight, overnight hours, some showers and thunderstorms coming through. And then here's just 12:30 tomorrow. A couple little blips on the radar screen. Couple little blips. That's about it. So I've got a chance of some wet weather in the forecast tomorrow, but it's not going to be an all-day washout, and it's not going to be an area-wide washout either. So let's take you through here again, and then we go Saturday night into Sunday morning. The skies clear out. Notice how those little red arrows, they're still out of the south. They're still pulling in that very mild air, and then this is clear skies and sunshine all the way through there. Let's see if I can do a little something here. I want to just slow that down a little bit, and we'll kind of grab it maybe frame by frame and see what goes on here. I'll just drag this along here, and we can kind of examine this a little more closely. So this is 1:15, again, well after midnight, and our models are showing pretty decent little line of showers and some thunderstorms coming through. This is 3:30 overnight hours. By 4:30, you can see a lot of that lifting north through Wisconsin. And then the secondary area of light to moderate showers filling in again over the south suburbs. Now look where that area is, the yellow area that goes between Joliet and Gary, right over Midway. That's the area tonight that has the flash flood warning, and there's a flash flood watch there as well. So if you've worried about your basement flooding out, or if you're worried about any flooding concerns at all there, your next chance of rain comes 6 tomorrow morning. So just before sunrise, just be aware of that. Again, it doesn't look as heavy or as intense, but if you're already dealing with some flooding issues, you'll want to kind of be cognizant of that. So sun comes up. Here we are, 7:30, pushing 8 o'clock. Again, mostly dry, not a lot of sunshine, but there you see a few breaks in the clouds. You're seeing not cloud cover exactly everywhere. And then here we go into the midday, noon. Again, by afternoon, I told you before, I thought we'd see things dry out pretty nicely by afternoon, and even before that in the morning. After we get rid of that initial round of showers, just some hit and miss, little scraggly stuff coming through here. And then this is tomorrow night, 5 o'clock, still dealing with some clouds. It's still going to be blustery. We'll still have winds out of the south at 15, 25, 30 miles per hour. So even though it's going to be in the low 60s tomorrow, it's still going to be pretty blustery. And then let's go overnight. This is overnight Saturday and into Sunday. There's midnight Saturday night, Sunday morning, and then we're clear and sunny. And probably still a little bit breezy on Sunday, although I don't believe it's as blustery as it has been today and as we will be tomorrow. All right, let's take a look at the jet stream, see what that shows us. Oh, my. Look at this. This is why we're so warm today. Look at that jet stream. All right, trace those lines back from Chicago, that jet stream line. It takes us all the way back to the Baja of California. That's why today we were nearly 80 degrees in parts of the area. Nearly 80 degrees in the early part of March when the average high temperature is in the lower 40s. As we head to Sunday, the jet stream flattens out a little bit, which is going to tell us a couple things. It's going to tell us it's going to keep the cold air bottled up to the north across Canada. It also explains why temperatures on Saturday and especially Sunday in the low 60s, not quite as warm as some of the 70s that we had today because our air mass coming in from the Pacific Northwest. Pretty mild. That's where you want to see your air mass come from a lot of times because it's mild and, not too nasty. All right, temperatures. Look at this. We hold on to some 60s overnight tonight. Some showers and some thunderstorms. Next 48 hours looks like this. Temperatures dipping down into the 60s overnight tonight, some showers and thunderstorms. And then tomorrow, I told you tomorrow we would be in the 60s. But look at that. It's the early part of the day, and by 3 o'clock, we're already down in the low 50s. And by dinner time, we're down in the upper 40s. And by tomorrow night, we're down in the upper 30s. Before we warm back into the low 60s on Sunday with another decent day. So tomorrow will start out pretty mild, but again, those temperatures are going to be dipping down as we go throughout the day. This is a look at Futurecast. Let's take a look. I showed you the close-up Futurecast. Here's the Futurecast. If you may be doing a little traveling, there is what's going on around the Midwest. This is tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock, kind of the same situation. The heavier showers that we'll have overnight tonight will continue to slide off to the east from Michigan back into Indiana, heading off towards the north to the northeast. Our winds still coming out of the south, a little bit out of the southwest. And you see these little hit and miss little dots of green. They start up around Green Bay, you see around Sheboygan, north side of Chicago, a little dot there over Kendall County. Again, these represent just some light leftover, perhaps a little bit of instability showers that kind of left over in the wake of that system pushing away. Again, we dry out during the afternoon, and as we head towards the evening hours, again, we'll dry out and clear out, and then here you go back into Sunday. Again, all the winds coming out of the south and out of the southwest, so yeah, things looking pretty good. The bean, nice and shiny, just got washed today. Little nature wash job. Streets are still wet. I showed you the wet street conditions across most of northern Illinois, northwest Indiana. Here's how things look downtown along the Chicago River, and there's State Street. And there's the State Street Bridge that they have been working on forever, it seems like. And they're still working on it. But I got to give a credit to the Chicago Department of Transportation Bridge Division. Those guys keep these antiques, and these bridges are antiques. They keep them flowing and working, and now in this particular case, it's kind of a rehab project, but every year they do the bridge lifts to get the sailboats in and out of Lake Michigan, going back into Lake Michigan for the summer, and then they come back upstream and they go to their berthing areas as they head into the fall. I swear they must buy WD-40 by the 55-gallon drum to keep those gears going. Temperatures right now, 59 Michigan City at 63 in Rensselaer, 61 degrees in Kankakee. It's 61 in LaSalle, Peru. Ottawa, you've got 61 degrees. It's 60 in Morris, 60 in Sycamore, 59 in Sugar Grove, 62 at O'Hare. And those temperatures on the north side. Again, everyone's within a couple of degrees of where everyone else is. Same situation here. Schaumburg, 62, Aurora, 59. 62 at Midway, and Waukegan at 62 degrees with some clouds around Chicago. All right, these are the temperatures, again, dipping back down into the 60s overnight, not moving much from where we are right now. And then tomorrow, starting out in the 60s early on, but then tumbling down as we go throughout the day into the 30s tomorrow night, and 60s on your Sunday. I kind of like Sunday. Sunday's looking pretty sharp. Lots of sunshine all over the place. Roof cam here, winds out of the south at O'Hare, humidity 87%, dew points in the upper 50s. Yeah, feels like springtime. Feels a little bit humid with that moisture in the upper 50s. First time we've experienced that this year. Temperatures again, looking right about where they should be. I showed you sustained winds, gusts earlier. These are the sustained winds. The gusts were up in the 20-mile-per-hour category in some cases, but sustained winds at 14 miles per hour at Waukegan and DeKalb and Maryville and Valparaiso, and 17-mile-per-hour sustained winds at Benton Harbor. Again, the winds are all out of the south. And this is the forecast over the next 12 hours. Winds gusting up to around 30 miles per hour, and that is our forecast. We're looking at winds gusting at around 30, so a rather blustery evening. There's that line of showers and thunderstorms stretching from, Saginaw Bay all the way back down to Bloomington and continuing in its trek off to the east into the northeast. Well, that is a look at what we are looking at now across the upper Midwest. You know what? Since I got you here, let me show you the 7-day forecast. I would be remiss if I did not show you the forecast. So let's go with tonight. Overnight low temperatures this evening down to 57 degrees, unseasonably mild. Tomorrow, temperatures of 62, a few showers and thunderstorms. Warm start, but then falling PM temperatures. And then this is a look at your 7-day forecast with temperatures looking beautiful on Monday and then a little more seasonable as we go Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Hey, come on back in about a half an hour. I'm going to do this all over for you, just in case you didn't take notes. I'll see you then.